All right, folks, hello and welcome. I'm Paragon RG. We are spending some time watching some top players and basically looking at villager and resource allocation. Now, this sounds boring, but it's so important. If you want to improve as a player, you have to keep an eye on these numbers here. This is where we're focusing a lot of our time. That's why in the last game, if you were watching, we only spent so much time actually watching battles. Like, oh yeah, by the way, there's elephants at his opponent's base. Villagers getting trashed. Szalami wins, whatever. The point is, what is he spending on? What are his plans to spend on? No, this should be a ranked match. And in fact, the question was Viper versus Szalami. Is that the N4C, NAC, however you call it, tournament? Yeah, this was earlier today. And let me close this, actually. I'll do that in a sec. I don't think Szalami showed up. I could be wrong. I don't think he showed up to his games unless they did them later. So we'll see if he shows up to the second qualifier or if he's disqualified for not showing up. But shame on him. Hopefully he does that shortly. Look at this deer bounding. It's pretty cool. Okay, so Szalami is in the north of this map. The map is, by the way, hill and dale. So a little bit of a campy map. Szalami playing as a Chinese. I think this is sort of one of his splash civs. He normally plays as the Delhi, but will mix in Chinese play as well. And the Viper is playing as the Holy Roman Empire. Really good civ on this map. He disqualified. Did he disqualify from the tournament entirely, or just the first qualifier? That's what I'd be curious to know. All right, so early on, there's not a ton to talk about here. It's really just basic build order stuff, right? So 8 on food. Just something to note is that this is already useful. Like, imagine you're screwing up your build order. Really, all you have to remember are these numbers. And yeah, you need to remember some sort of time sequence. But you can, like, wait, crap, what am I doing? You can look down and, like, oh, I'm supposed to do, let's say, like 831 or something. And then just do it, right? Pull one, drop off resources, move them to the next one, and you're good. So this is such an important tool that I think very few of us use as often as we should. Szalami aging up with the Barbican of the Sun. Let's take a quick look at what he scouts on Viper's side of the map. Aachen Chapel. Nothing too crazy. I don't think he's learned anything particularly special, except maybe that he isn't being walled in by the Viper, or at least hasn't found the villager that's doing it yet. I don't have prior knowledge or anything, but we have seen that kind of shenanigans happen semi-frequently. Something I think is of note, actually, this is of note, 1 villager going up. This is the equivalent of 4 villagers for any other civ. Just because the Chinese build twice as quickly, and all villagers except the first build at half the normal speed. So it's pretty much the same as it works in Age of Empires 2, if you're used to those rules. So they don't keep dropping off in terms of effectiveness, but you know, they're all halved after that. So 1 villager is actually quite effective here. Adds a couple more. He's trying to hit a certain time, or he knows he has the gold he needs, right? So 104 gold. We'll have to see if he has a particular need for that amount of gold. Looks like he'll hit a sub 4-minute time, which is quite nice. 354. Identical times. So these villagers head out and about. Looks like he really was trying to get 100 gold, and we'll have to see why in just a minute. If you are hoping I'm an expert at the Chinese, I am not. I did play a bunch of them in December after they got some nice changes. And haven't come back to them. I've mostly been playing as Delhi and Abbasid since. 6 villagers on stone. So again, we are expecting something here, but this is honestly looking like a... I mean, okay, first of all, even without seeing these villagers, we have to think this is a town center, or a keep, or stone wall towers. And he's getting past 300 stones, so we have to figure it's not a town center. Also, Delhi just tend to not do that. And then we see all these villagers going forward. So Szalami is going to try to cheese the Viper here. Almost loses a scout by getting surrounded there. All these villagers in the same place. So he's not splitting up to do this in different spots. Adding that initial wall. Ad says about Szalami, he stated he's not going and would leave the slot for someone who could make it. Of course, he could change his mind. Thanks for clearing that up. I would love to see him in the tournament. In fact, it's almost a shame players like the Viper didn't have to qualify, because I would have loved to see him play a little bit more, but at least he's back and active on the ladder again. He's also one of few players at the top with a public match history. Hare is taking a little break right now as well, which I'm actually a little bit worried for him, from one Canadian to another. So let's pop back here. Still quite a few villagers on stone. While we're at it, let's think about the investment it is to do this Stonewall Tower rush. He has 6 villagers forward, and he has 6 villagers on stone. So let's imagine for a minute that this Stonewall Tower rush was not effective. That's like deleting 12 villagers for 5 minutes. It is a huge, huge loss. If each villager gives you, needs to be careful, gives you about 40 resources per minute, then, what is it, 12 times 4, 480 resources. Did I do that right? Yeah, 12 times 480 resources for 5 minutes, right? We're talking thousands of resources you could have. You could hit the Castle Age with Lancers, and so on and so on. And yes, Ponzors, we got a nice raid from Nilly. By the way, fun fact, I don't know how many people are still here from the raid and from Nilly. On YouTube, I weirdly have an equal number of American viewers as I do German viewers. So special shout out to any Germans watching this. Us English and German speakers have a nice shared history that goes a long way back. Another villager headed forward. Why does he need another one? Did he lose? Like, is there some reason he needs 7 instead of 6? Really makes me wonder, unless he wants a separate one, maybe to complete the wall off, or to head over here and wall this off or something like that. Okay, so still 6 on stone. So you can tell he's fully committed to this. 6 villagers on food, not really using his food total. So if there's anything that could be better here, even just let a fewer villagers on food could make a giant difference. And this is so annoying. If you can add the wall, let's see if I can make a slightly... Okay, that's not really any clearer. If you can put up the wall, he actually deleted a piece of it so he could walk up and then build the Stonewall Tower. Now your villagers are up top, and now they're receiving, what is it, 1/3 of the normal ranged damage, which means it's so hard to kill the villagers that are up here. Hold alt. Yeah, I can hold alt to rotate, but it's just not, like, I thought we were going to see a wider wall, and just the perspective was hiding it, but that didn't end up being the case. So I haven't been talking too much about what's going on Viper's side. In part, Szalami hasn't actually scouted what's back here. So we don't really know for sure. I mean, it probably doesn't have a gold back here. Now, the Viper's the kind of player who would sneak villagers out, like somewhere over here, to get some gold. Would not be surprised if he's doing that. These archers are killing these villagers so slowly, but they are doing it. Looks like this does get completed, though, and it's facing a very strange direction. So it's facing the trees. I'm assuming he's hoping to kill villagers that are on the other side of this. Let's, before we even look back at the base, poor villagers. Still has 6 on food, 0 on wood. Yeah, there's a general confusion. Oh, did the stream drop for a minute? My apologies, folks. My apologies. Shit, I think I might have a VPN on. I need to turn that off. If I turn it off, will I lose my stream? That is the question. I'm using OBS. Will I lose my stream right now if I turn off my VPN, if there's a hiccup in the connection? As long as it comes back, I would say it's worth doing. Okay. 9 on gold now, 7 on food. It's starting to look like Szalami is either headed for the Castle Age, but you'd expect more on food in that case. And 10 on stone now. He completely mined out this area for stone. So He's only committing harder and harder to this play. Villagers doing the scouting over here. Adds more wall. He knows there's a blacksmith. He knows there's got to be more over here. And the question is, where is the Viper? Okay, so he's got some gold back here. Wouldn't be surprised to see Szalami sneak a villager over here. Something to know about Szalami as a player. From what I've heard, apparently he is not a fast player. Okay, so his APM isn't super high. So he's not zipping around all over the place. So it's entirely possible to see him make yeah, doesn't actually see. Almost should have built just like a regular outpost. Just to see what's here. And if nothing's here, then don't worry about it. Move on. I guess it does wall. It means the Viper can never really come through here again. But so he is not a super fast player. So it's entirely possible. He doesn't use control groups. Does he use the keyboard? That surprises me. Control groups, even if you like the mouse, they actually, like here, if I label this guy, it shows up here. So later on I can actually, if I want to find this guy and I don't want to use the keyboard, I can even do this. Only scout. Okay. So I would say what we're learning from this game is winding down here. I'm going to speed up a little bit so we can get into the next game. Villagers doing some harassment. How does he choose to react to this? If at all. You can just put up an outpost. He's going to click up to the Castle Age. Looks like Imperial Palace. Imperial Palace. Interesting. Yeah, I mean, I guess that will help him find his opponent's villagers. So there's that. So speeding through here. This will go up real quick. Remember, 8 villagers, double build speed. I mean, I really think he needs to scout these other areas. Like, you could imagine Viper escaping with a bunch of stuff and it just never being scouted, because he didn't have any walls here either. In fact, the Viper reaches the Castle Age, so I think Szalami should be worried. He should be worried. Towers are starting to go down. Has a Regnitz Cathedral, so Szalami kind of needs to get some more map control. Otherwise, like, imagine he was walled in here. I mean, I guess Rams can still take it down. Yeah, needed this. Needs to get that scout. Even just keep running, man. Just keep swinging around this area. Viper mostly with regular old archers at this stage. But if he can get gold in the Regnitz, he's actually not in that terrible of a spot. Okay, quickly, I'm going to slow back down again. Okay, game is over, unfortunately, just as I do that. You would have seen that Szalami moved all villagers off of stone. Actually, he went through this stone as well. But it does tell us that he is committing less to stone and starting to move on with his life. So, not maybe the best game to see how resource allocation is used by players, but nevertheless, maybe good to throw in some cheese from a player to see how that is done. Folks, thanks for joining me for that. Hope you enjoyed it. This has been Paragon RG, and I will catch you next time.